Hi, I'm Laurie Itkin. I'm a certified divorce financial analyst, also known as a CDFA, and my website is theoptionslady.com. I want to discuss the services I provide individuals and couples. So when you go to my website, you go to my homepage, you'll see when you scroll down that you can either hire me as your analyst, advocate, advisor, or you and your spouse can jointly hire me as a neutral financial analyst. So you need to decide what path you want to go on. Are you looking for advice for you as an individual, or are you and your spouse looking for advice together? So let's talk about the services for individuals. I have 3 flat rate packages: Mediation Money Mentor, Chief Divorce Officer, and It Could Happen. So the Mediation Money Mentor package includes up to 5 hours of consulting time. We may be meeting by Zoom. I might be doing some analysis offline and sharing it with you. And it includes up to 5 hours to support you between mediation sessions. So you can have a successful mediation, which is all about making proposals, responding proposals, making counter proposals. And the details of that package are on my website, the package details, and the cost for that is $1,500. The next package I have is called the Chief Divorce Officer package, and this is really directed for executive level women, women entrepreneurs, high-achieving women that are the super women doing everything. They're working very demanding jobs. They may be running some or most of the household duties. They basically really need a concierge level service because they just don't have free time to start Googling for advice. And this package includes up to 10 hours, includes everything in the Mediation Money Mentor package, but also 5 one-hour Zoom meetings on issues that I think are critical for high-earning, high-achieving women to understand and to accomplish so that they can have a successful divorce. This package is for women in mediation or women in litigation. This investment is $3,375. Now, for those men and women who are contemplating divorce but are just afraid to take the step because they don't have any concept of what their financial reality will be like if they do get divorced, what their post-divorce financial life will look like, that's what this package is for, because it could happen. It's also good if you think your spouse may be leaning towards getting a divorce and you want to be prepared. So with the It Could Happen package, which is my most affordable flat rate option at $699, you gather as much information as you can on you and your spouse's assets, debts, income, and expenses, and then we'll pretend like you're starting the divorce process. How will assets and debts be divided fairly? Will one person be able to buy the other out of the house? What about how are retirement plans divided? Do we have enough information to even estimate ranges for child or spousal support, or both or neither? So this is something that men and women really find valuable because it just gives them information, and information is power, and they may decide not to divorce, or they may decide they'll keep working on their marriage for a while and see what happens, or they may decide that they're ready to divorce. So those are the services for individuals. Let's go to services for couples. So a lot of couples will go to a mediator. I offer this neutral divorce financial analysis. What is that? Well, one of the things I offer is pre-mediation financial clarity for couples. That's a mouthful, but what that is that lots of times before parties start the mediation process, they both want to be on the same page with financial knowledge. And financial knowledge is sometimes very different than divorce math. They want to learn together what is possible in the division of assets. Can one person buy the other out? What would the tax impacts look like? How would retirement accounts be divided, pensions, and what if, one or both are self-employed? How is child support or spousal support even considered or calculated? We do all this work together so that when you are ready to work with a mediator, guess what? You're going to spend most of the time with the mediator on the drafting of a marital settlement agreement, and maybe just a couple of sessions on making proposals back and forth with each other, because you already have an outline of what are some of the best options for both of you. So in this pre-mediation financial clarity for couples, we're not talking about child custody, we're not talking about move-aways. We may talk about separate property and community property and how to identify that, but we are dealing with all the financial issues, and the whole goal is so that you do most of the work with me, and that when there are any contentious issues, perhaps spousal support, you don't need to have 5 sessions with your mediator. Maybe you only need 1 or 2. So that is a very popular package, and the price for that package is $2,250. Now let's talk about some of the other ad hoc a la carte services. I'm an equity compensation expert. Oftentimes mediators refer clients to me to do a joint neutral assessment. If you work for a publicly traded company and you get restricted stock units or performance stock units, maybe you work for a privately held company and you get incentive stock options. Maybe you get non-qualified stock options at a public or private company. It's particularly in California, it's very complicated. Some of the stuff that was awarded before the date of separation but vests afterwards is community property. And then we have to figure out, of the separate property that the employee is keeping, how much of that is considered income for child and or spousal support. So this I often do as a neutral. Sometimes I work for one individual. And the other a la carte service I provide is separate property tracing for retirement accounts. If you had a retirement account before marriage, in California, you're entitled to that separate property balance plus the investment growth on that separate property balance, but you have to prove it. You have to trace it. I do that tracing for you with a mega spreadsheet. I look at all the statements. And that is very helpful if you have a 401k or an IRA, you've been married 15 years, how much of that is community property that has to be divided 50-50 with your spouse? I'm going to figure that out for you. So, and lastly, if none of these services fit for you, if nothing's resonating here, it's not quite matching your situation, well, then I encourage you to submit my contact form. And what I often offer without a signed engagement letter or retainer is a 1-hour paid consultation for $375. You can send me documents, you can share your screen with me. Really good for people that just don't know what their path is going to be, or perhaps you are close to finalizing a settlement proposal or settlement agreement and you just want that third look from a neutral to make sure that this all looks good and there are no landmines that might come to haunt you later on. So that's my website, theoptionslady.com, Laurie Itkin, and I look forward to hearing from you.